another edition of Editors on Topic with the Design World Senior Editorial Staff. Today we're going to be talking about the Internet of Things. And the Internet of Things is a huge buzzword, or maybe you would call it a buzz term. Sometimes it's called Internet of Things, sometimes it's called big data, sometimes it's called
Industry 4.0
or
4.0.
Cyber physical systems is a big one we heard at the NI Week last year in Austin, Texas.
Industrial revolution.
The programmable world is the one I heard. So these are all fine and good, but what does it really mean? And to a design engineer, do they really care? Should they really care? Leslie, you wrote an article about this not too long ago.
Yeah.
Is this something that our readers should really care about?
I think they need to be aware of it, but it's really more of an evolution rather than a revolutionary kind of a stance. The media hype makes it sound like this is the next big thing, but frankly it's been going on for 20 plus years. Basically what it really is as we are able to put in more smarts into smaller and smaller devices, we have the ability to connect more and more factory components together and gather data from literally just about everything, and that's kind of the goal of it. But really, I think it's just the ability to add smarts, add intelligence into smaller and smaller devices and get more information. My big thing is, what are you going to do with all that information? There's a lot of it that you can play with.
It's probably the only part of it, too, yes.
Do you really think all that additional information is going to fine-tune your processes even more? What kind of efficiencies do you expect to get out of it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think the more information that manufacturers can gather, not only about their internal processes, but about what their customers are doing, how they're buying, what they're buying. You know, the more they know about their product and their processes, the better decisions they can make. You know, they can make their processes leaner, they can troubleshoot, they can fix problems faster. You know, a lot of products are shipping now with sensors on board that will tell the manufacturer, in some cases before the actual customer knows that something is awry and needs maintenance. And they can actually be proactive about providing them with guidance on how to maintain that product before a failure actually occurs. So I think, there are a lot of things that, there's just so much information. I think a lot of improvements need to come from the data analytics side, the software side. Right now it's still very complicated to use, and it takes, a rocket science brain to understand and wrap your arms around it. So I think a lot of advances are going to come there. But yeah, I think it does offer a lot of value for a company, for an organization.
I do wonder though, because there's a lot of comments about how you're going to have a talking refrigerator, a talking stove, a talking washing machine. And this is more the market-driven side of things. By putting intelligence in everything, it'll give advertisers and marketers more information so that they can pitch stuff to you better. And I'm sure our audience is going to be involved in creating those kinds of products.
Right.
I'm not interested in
Some of that's already happening. You look at Nest, the Nest thermostat, which was bought by Google, so it's going somewhere. There is a program, if you have the Nest thermostat, you can enroll in basically that you're more willing to help your local utility. And Nest, or Google now, has partnered with a number of utilities across the country. There's a program called Rush Hour Rewards. If you sign up for it, basically you're saying, during the high peak times, I'm willing to, the summertime, okay, my house can be a couple degrees warmer. And they're using all these algorithms that they have from all the people networked in whose homes are all, they know what time you want it warmer, what time you want it cooler, what your family's schedule is, and it sucks all this big data in and figures out who it needs to okay, yeah, we're going to put this in this house a little warmer because they signed up for it. It's a pretty interesting concept, and for a utility, it's a great way to manage their demand and their load.
Yeah.
And the insurance industry, it's going to be huge for the insurance industry, putting sensors in cars and basically having people pay based on their driving behavior. I don't have a problem with this. Other people, obviously, are probably not going to be as excited about it because maybe they're, not as safe for drivers. But I mean, that's going to be much more efficient for insurers, and we're not all going to get treated the same, which we shouldn't. We should be paying based on our driving record and our driving behavior, not on...
I'm excited about it for as my kids grow toward driving age, because if they know they're being monitored by something in the car, I'm all for that. I'm all for Big Brother in the car when my kids are driving.
I agree.
But does this speak to privacy at all?
Oh, absolutely.
What are we going to have to sit down?
There's no privacy when you're 17 years old and you're driving Dad's car. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I think the safety concerns outweigh privacy concerns,
Yeah.
certainly in this
How about for
particular
adults?
situation.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I think privacy is going to be a big issue because I mean, if everything that we use and every device that we use daily is networked somehow and talking or sending back data, I mean, where in the world do you go where you're not connected, where you're not networked anymore? I mean, it sounds like privacy is just gone then. It sounds like there's no privacy, and I for one, I don't have kids, so that probably, if I did, maybe I'd think about that a little bit differently. But I mean, certainly just looking at it as a larger societal or cultural issue, I think that's a huge deal. I mean, I think that's a very big deal.
So, imagine you have a heart valve in your heart, and it malfunctions.
I don't think he has a heart.
In your case, this would not apply, but
Right.
for someone else who does, some sort of implantable medical device, they will know when something is wrong with it before something catastrophic happens to you. Even they're talking about embedding small sensors in medication that you ingest, and then they can tell if there's any interactions going on that you need to be aware of. I mean, I really do think the potential benefits outweigh privacy, which, like you've all said, our privacy. How much of that do we even have anymore? And these sensors, it's not like they're going to be embedding them under your arm while you sleep.
I kind of want to take it back to, we talked about the article that you wrote, and there's something that I thought was interesting from your article, Leslie, where you said the term the Internet of Things is really a catch-all expression.
Right.
It describes the use of devices that can be connected to the Internet, from industrial components to smart appliances and mobile devices. I mean, do you think that really says everything there is about the Internet of Things? Because when I think of that and big data and whatever else we're going to call it, I think of it as a way to be more efficient, to kind of see patterns of how things are used. It's not just the fact that they're connected, but like how do systems interconnect, and how, maybe there's a way you've designed something and you don't realize how people are going to use it. Maybe they're using it in a different way than the designer thought. And I think that's where I see it as something really exciting
That could be useful
and really
information. Sure.
game changing.
And that's going to become probably the next phase is how do we value this information? And should some of it be more private? Should some of it be more open? But that was a quote from somebody else in the article.
Okay.
But I thought it represented it pretty well as saying that basically it is a buzz phrase. It is a term that marketing people are using to try to garner up a lot of sales. And a lot of tech companies are behind it because they want you to buy their intelligent devices and install them in your other stuff.
But I've also noticed too, though, that some companies that I've been working with or looking at lately, they're also starting to offer products and services that are kind of under the catch-all of this term, and like part of what they're offering is just like sensing capabilities or networking capabilities or something like that, which is really what's at the heart of all this, right? Having some kind of sensor that's giving you some kind of data and some way to send that data back somewhere where it's going to get analyzed and put into some kind of use, right?
Well, I know one of the big players in my space in the design world is PTC, and they bought a Internet of Everything company called ThingWorks.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they're obviously looking at it from the product design side. How can we make use of this data to improve processes, design process, manufacturing processes, looking at the whole life cycle of products. They've yet to announce what the product will be, but it's obviously something they're keeping a close eye on, and they do believe it will be a player in product design. I mean, it will affect how products are designed.
Well, a lot of great comments we had here. We're interested to know what you think about the Internet of Things, or whatever you call it. So please make sure to comment on the video below, and also check out our other videos at www.designworldonline.com. Thanks for joining us.